Hey, collective, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here with me always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive. So glad the sound is finally working tonight. Sorry, I got super distracted. I've had a lot of technical difficulties this week for whatever reason. It's been a super chaotic week for me as well. I apologize. So it's made it really hard to just upload and get things in order, hence why I'm going live tonight on Friday evening. We're going to look at a weekly recap, and then we will also look at the energy for the upcoming weekend via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your patience and flexibility always, especially if you did attend the live on Wednesday, or was it Tuesday, I think. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Please know it's never meant to be rude. I super appreciate your time, energy always. Um, Things happen, as I'm sure that you know, and glad that hopefully we will be fine moving forward. I didn't realize that my last week also had no volume, so I don't know what's going on. I blamed it on Mercury retrograde, but we are in Mercury retrograde, if you could have guessed. It's been a really interesting week. We're coming off of a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, and there are things that, we're in Pisces season as well. So things are emotional. There's like a lot going on or just we have to maybe make peace with the things that are going on, I should say. Peace around the changes that are happening. We're struggling a little bit with that, i.e., the moon tensely aspected to Pluto, places that maybe we're not ready for the change, or we don't like the change that's coming, or we're perceiving that we're not going to like it, especially if we had ideas of certain situations, dynamics moving a little bit differently. And Virgo is the energy of finding balance through self-care, taking obviously taking care of ourselves, but just through self-love, self-care. Sorry. I got thrown off, and then there's something going on outside now. So it's a little crazy of a start, but we'll rally, I promise. Yeah, so it's making adjustments, and it's being open to those adjustments, and not being afraid of a little humility right now. And it's not necessarily this thing like everything's going to be big, bad, and ugly. It's more this thing of just making peace with the reality of what is. And Ayurveda says that that's like the best thing we can do, especially for our mental, emotional, spiritual health, is be honest about what situations are, what relationships are, what those dynamics are actually contributing to our life, because then we know how to deal with it, right? Then we can kind of readjust accordingly, especially if it is coming down to our mental, emotional, physical well-being, etc. But that's also why I like to start these readings off with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize these collective readings. Definitely feel free to drop comments below during this as well. I love to chat, engage. I think it's a great way to connect, have community, especially with the collective energy, right? I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, hey, so good to see you, Karen. Happy Friday. um, Thank you for your patience as well. I said this a lot in the beginning. But I really appreciate you showing up the other night. I thank you for the comments as well. I literally had no idea I had no sound. So thank you. And so glad to see you always. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good week. So yeah, I also do energy healing and wellness, Ayurvedic holistic wellness consultations. If you're looking for more of a rebalancing of self, your mind, body, soul. When we're coming from that space of being grounded in ourselves, that's really where we are tapping into our happiness, our fulfillment, our abundance, our success, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, right? When we feel good, when we're happy, when we're well, that's really where life moves for us. And we all deserve it. We all have access to it. A lot of times it's just getting the hubbub out of the way, which we're kind of seeing right now as well. So, definitely hit me up if you're interested. I would love to connect. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into this. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right. I'm liking the energy. It feels good. I feel like things are starting to pick up a little bit, or you're just feeling a little bit better all across the board. And this does come with some excitement. I am picking that up, like just this energy of being ready to go, or that like things are starting to click, things are starting to make sense in whatever way that translates for you. Opportunity. Maybe you have some opportunities knocking on your door, especially with that woodpecker there. I really like that energy. And quantum jump. Quantum jump does talk about it's like essentially the energetic way of saying leveling up. It's just when we're able to overcome some things, some difficulties in our life, and we can see things, the hard work starting to pay off. That's the energy I'm picking up. I feel like I'm also hearing to like just I know I think I say this a lot, so I'm a little annoyed at myself, but like just continue to be patient with yourself because I feel like there might be this energy of going very quickly or that snowball effect as things are starting to pick up the pace. It's hard not to take off running, so to speak. But I'm hearing like, especially right now, there is still that need to be really cognizant of your energy, how much you are taking on, right? Making sure that you're not overdoing it. Inner conflict resolution. This came out well, what reading was that? I don't know. I'm all confused because they were all crazy. There was a reading that I did that this was in one of the positions in the overarching energy. So it makes a lot of sense to just in terms of coming off of that full moon lunar eclipse at the beginning of the week, see beyond the past. So we're kind of, as we're moving forward and either breaking ties or healing the past, evolving from the past situations, etc. It is time to let go. It is time to make that change. And I feel like you're still, or we've also been seeing this pop up in our readings, you're still dealing with some of the residual. And it is directly related to your own internal conflict around what has happened. What does this mean? Like, I feel like this is a lot about getting really clear on what the past was for you. And specifically in regards to the places that it brought up some trauma, some wounding, some triggering things that you had to maybe reflect upon within yourself. And there's still lingering pieces, is what I'm hearing. And I think why this is really important because as we're moving forward, as we're moving into the new, it's important to not bring the old stuff in, right? And that's exactly what this seeing beyond the past is all about. That's that component of awareness that I was talking about in the very beginning. The cards are ready to come out. I love this. Small steps, big accomplishments. This energy also came out for us earlier the week. Again, I'm not sure what video. But right. So, yes, like taking the lessons with you, what you've learned, what you're seeing right now, present day, but making sure that you're continuing to refine, that you're continuing to grow and evolve. That is the nature of life. And it's good. It's a good thing. In the astrology, we see this with that moon tensely aspected to Pluto, like I was talking about. Also, the North Node tensely aspected to Black Moon Lilith. We don't really want to do the change or the hard work involved. We know, like, intuition is kind of pointing us in the right directions. You're obviously already making changes and choices accordingly. Again, maybe things aren't moving as fast. That's why small steps equal big accomplishments. I'm also hearing it's helping you not miss out on anything as well. Because I think whatever this change is, if we look at it through the lens of that quantum jump, it is you leveling up. It is going to be like a better version of the life you're living now. And you've worked really hard to get there. So honoring yourself, honoring what has brought you to this place, and maybe even making peace with some of those places that do feel a little bit messy, or we still hold shame, guilt, grief, sadness, etc. Remembering that the slow chipping away is going to bring, oh, I love this. I didn't even see it, but that's why I love the cards. The slow chipping away is going to bring that great breakthrough, right? And I feel like it is. I'm really excited to see how this is coming up in the tarot, but I'm really excited to see how this manifests for you because the breakthrough feels monumental. It feels like whether or not you're getting an opportunity to really test out what you have learned in the face of some of the past that has kind of trickled in with our readings as well. Um, it looks like it. It feels like it. 29 breaks down to 11, which is a master number. And it is mastery of self. It's not only mastery of self, but it's like amplification. Again, just another confirmation of that leveling up that you're doing. I'm really drawn to this snake in the casket at the bottom of the card. And that's where it feels like you might have that opportunity to kind of really face some of your demons head on, and I think even be surprised at your own breakthroughs, right? Like how far you actually have come. um I don't think that it doesn't look like you've had a lot of opportunity to show that side of yourself. That's part of where there is comfortability in holding on to what has been. um because it's kind of kept you stuck in an illusion, especially if you are making choices that not everyone would make or you're getting a lot of backlash for. I'm seeing this like black swan, and I don't mean it in like the weird, like, I don't know. I know that like that can have some kind of negative connotations. I'm seeing that more of like the black sheep. That's how I'm referencing it with the black swan. And like I said, making sure that you're not allowing some of those past things keeping you stuck in whatever that illusion is, because you have shut down or you're self protecting in a certain way right now, understandably so. You really want to make sure that you're being aware of who and what you're giving your time and energy to. But it might make you look a little bit like on the defensive or not very warm, inviting. Like people might misread where that's coming from. Oh yeah, I know. I know, right? Well, exactly. I love like when we get those confirmations 100%, right? And this is a time I really like it because a lot of the structure change that's happening that we can even see like on a larger scale, whether whatever, there's a lot of things going on in the world that fall under this umbrella. But it really is about like breaking down these old structures and definitely highlighting the people that have like been very loyal to those things and how it hasn't necessarily served them, because it's giving way for a new type of energy to come forth and to actually have an opportunity to like rise, whatever that looks like for you, whatever abundance and success looks like for you in your life. That could be accomplishing big things, big goals, big dreams, etc. It could just be living more authentically in your energy, right? Like just more authentically you and not necessarily ascribing to those pressures that society, family, community, friends, culture puts on us. And that, I mean, I know that's a very broad umbrella, but it's really cool to see that magnified. I'm a huge believer, as above, so below, as within, so without. And that's why I think this inner conflict resolution is so important and so powerful, because it is about shedding some of those lies that people have put on us, or almost like, I mean, I'm hearing, especially like making you feel bad for being the black sheep, when actually maybe it's not a bad thing. If you're not hurting anybody, then dot, 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 right? Like, why is it bad? And I love this energy because it is very creative. It is very inventive. It's definitely Pluto moving into Aquarius, changing how things are done. The star is also Aquarian energy. Aquarian energy is inventive. It's eclectic. It's not afraid to march to the beat of its own drum. And yeah, there are places where it makes sense. Like you're coming in as Five of Wands, conflicted around how this actually plays out in real life. There we can talk about all these altruistic things all day long, but putting it into practice and actually making it a way of living is a totally different ball game. Because I do think on some level I'm hearing with these hearts, it's like you are giving up certain things, or you have to let the dream die, a dream that might have not been a real dream. It might have been falsity, like non-reality, a fantasy. Sorry, that's what I was looking for, not falsity. That probably is not a word, but yes. So it's acknowledging again, highlighting that point of awareness. So you like, I think it looks like it's been really hard for you to come out of your shell. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, you might be a little bit on the defensive. And I think this is just from some of the burn that you have received from past energy, whether it's been direct trauma or people betraying, etc. We'll see how some of this fares out, but you've been in self protection mode, and I think rightfully so. It makes a lot of sense. You're not getting a lot of feedback either from those around you. It feels a little bit more like excuses. Like, I'm not taking ownership. I'm not going to give collective the benefit of the doubt because I needed to do this for, like, there's a lot of justification energy with this King of Swords, especially as they watch you, move beyond whatever the situation is that you're dealing with. And, they're claiming healing, like that they're getting better, the Star. Maybe even, and maybe they are, we'll see. Let me balance you out first before we move on. We'll see if they actually are doing the healing they claim. 7 of Wands. I don't know. Something gives you an opportunity to see something through a different lens. And obviously this is definitely connected with this breakthrough card. So we have Page of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, 9 of Wands just popped out, and the Queen of Swords. The Queen and King of Swords have been coming up for us a lot. Someone taking bad advice. Someone taking bad advice from someone they trusted. This does put a different spin on things for you. And I think you're going to have to look at this situation a little bit differently. You're going to have to look at it through a different lens. But I think this is also why it's really important to kind of get clear on where you are at around whatever has happened. Like what you think about it. Gosh, dude. Okay, so we have 5 of Wands, 6 of Wands, 7 of Wands. I like this for you, though, because it talks about a lot of progression. Maybe a little bit 1 step forward, 2 step back type energy. And maybe that's kind of where you're feeling some of this frustration, small steps. Why that is a theme to like take your time or be very thorough. I'm also hearing, again, like I think that there is some lingering shame. I think someone comes in to clarify some of this. Maybe they feel like they can't right now because they don't have access to you on some level. Wheel of Fortune, 8 of Swords. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. And the King of Wands. So it's like your perspective needs to change, and then other people are going to follow suit. And like, I don't even mean it in a way that you have to agree with something, like what, but it's like, this is about you getting more confident within yourself and what you saw and like what your truth is within reason, right? Like, I'm not saying that in a way. I think it's really important to embrace our truth, so to speak, but we don't want it to be a mechanism to like hide a deeper truth, like whatever lies we tell ourselves or whatever, because there's a little bit of that energy in the collective right now, right? Like, if we can avoid some of the small steps, sometimes it looks like it's gonna get us to our destination quicker if we're running versus slow and steady, right? The quintessential tortoise and the hare. And maybe, but not really, because that's the energy that I keep picking up. It's like you'll miss out on certain things. There is more to a story here that wants to be revealed. And I feel like maybe you might even just be like avoiding it a little bit, right? Like maybe it's kind of a hard thing to look at. And so we do pick and choose. We do pick and choose like what we want to look at, what we want to process through. And just because we put something on the back burner or we don't address it doesn't mean it's not still within our being. If anything, when we don't process it, that's when it gets stuck. That's when it gets lodged into, those spaces within our physiology, and it starts to, cultivate disease, in terms of excuse me, my voice, in terms of Ayurveda. looks at that as like the root cause of disease when we start letting the unprocessed thoughts, feelings, emotions, traumas, when we let them linger too long in our body, right? And it looks like you have some, I feel like you have some peace to make with yourself. Four of Cups, Page of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. This, to me, it looks like unfinished business. And specifically as it relates to communications, closing out certain things, bringing some clarity to situations. I'm not really sure that anyone or anything, there's a lot of wands. Oh my gosh. Eight of Wands that not completes, but just adds to our little cycle that's happening over here. So it's like it's what is going to give you the most progress forward. And that's where it feels a little bit frustrating because with all that Wands energy, you're definitely on the defensive or very protective of something. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not shaming anyone by saying that, right? It's the places that we want to protect our hurt, our pain, our sadness, or certain people, certain situations feel unsafe, untrustworthy to let in, but you still haven't made peace within yourself. And that's where the disconnect comes into play. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's not like you have to agree with someone. It's that you have to like know within yourself, like feeling that confidence, or just like again, peace. I'm trying to describe it like when we know what we know and we're confident in that truth. I hope that helps. I hope that clarifies. I feel like my words are failing me right now, but I hope that helps. We have a pretty good weekend astrologically. We might be feeling the tension a little bit more tomorrow, Saturday. That's part of where things. Okay, Three of Wands or Five of, oh, excuse me, Five of Swords. I saw it as, well, I said Three of Wands. I meant Three of Swords. Nine of Wands. Gosh, dude, that's our, you're getting there though. I love that. There's our Three of Swords. There's a lot of pain. So addressing some of the pain, you know, and the pain isn't always the most fun thing to look at. But again, that's the theme that I'm hearing is like you need to make peace within yourself. There's also tension with Chiron and the fortune point. So again, part of the work is about getting a little bit better, a little bit stronger, healing some of those wounds where we think we're worthless or we don't deserve, or whatever that umbrella is, right? Whatever the people, the situations in life, the society, community, family, lovers, whatever people have tried to project onto us, that's just not yours to pick up. It's not yours to pick up. But we do pick up that wounding, right? And there's something that you're feeling guilty around, something as if someone told you like you were being foolish or stupid or taking something for granted. And really almost like kind of masking, like I'm hearing for some of you, it might have just been like people trying to force you into a situation that was actually like way more painful than what would be acknowledged, whether you wouldn't express it or you would try to tell people and they wouldn't listen, etc. Needing to make some choices that might not have made sense to other people, might have seemed fickle and immature, when in reality, it was like what you had to do, right? It was what you had to do based on the information that you were given. And again, there's some things that might be wise to look through this weekend. Spend some time with yourself. Full moon in Virgo is all about, like I was saying earlier, like taking care of your well-being. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy huge, you know? You can take a bath, you can do a yoga, you can wake up early, eat a good meal, take a walk outside. It's supposed to be gorgeous this weekend, you know? There's a lot of different ways we can honor ourselves, nurture your mind, read a good book, read some inspiring things, you know? Um, it just changes up the energy in a way that, as right now, this is in our blocked energy, magnetism through gratitude. When we're actually grateful, when we're switching things up a little bit, when we're taking those small steps for to honor our heart, our mind, our soul, whatever that looks like for you, then that's when we start attracting the abundance, right? Then that's when we start having those breakthroughs that are feeling really good, and that are like, spirit is definitely confirming that those are happening or they're en route. And I feel like that's like that excitement I was picking up in the very beginning. That's why, like, you're feeling good and you're ready to go. And I think that there's a lot changing. I feel like there's going to be a lot changing just even within this eclipse season in general, over the next, 6 months or so. And I think that it's hard after a long wait to not want to like jump to the end of what that picture is going to look like. Soul connections coming in. I love this. Connect deeply with your soul and discover your true self. I think this is obviously you. I mean, I think this ties back to that internal conflict resolution that you're doing. But I also feel like this is for what you're going to be bringing forward, you know? I've just been realizing how much value is in recognizing the patterns that we play out in life. Because when we recognize those things, then we can start making different choices, right? Then we can actually acknowledge, like, maybe I didn't want this. Maybe I was just doing this because of default patterning, or because people were telling me this is who I am or what I should be doing or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is for you. And as we acknowledge those things, that's when we start attracting those soul connections that I feel like your soul is really longing for, has been asking for. You know, we're bringing a close, we're bringing an end to this snake energy. Snake energy is sneaky, it's shady, it's poisonous, it can be deadly, right? And that's where, just in general, like I was talking about, even in like the bigger scale collective energy where this kind of stuff is happening, those constructs are changing. We can see how it is putting to bed this sneaky behavior. You know, people aren't getting away with as much. And as they're not, it's unifying the people that, are meant to be unified, whether you want to call them soulmates, soul connections. It's not just love, right? That can be all different types of connections. Intuitive creativity. Intuition fuels creativity. Follow its guidance. I'm hearing you're like, this is going to come a lot just through like those quick inspirations. That's where I think it's a really good idea to just leave some time for yourself this weekend, whatever you can do, maybe at the drop of the hat, you decide, I'm going to go do this for myself or something. Oh, I should check that out. I should do that, whatever it may be. Leave a little time and space for yourself to have a little fun. Or if you can do that all weekend, that's even better, right? And it can definitely be something creative that you're creating yourself, a project, something that you've been wanting to start, wanting to do, etc. Or it can be putting yourself out there to actually meet people, meet new connections, an interest you have, networking, etc. Mirror of truth. Intuition reflects the truth like a mirror. Trust what you perceive. I think this is tying back not only to your inner conflict resolution, but I'm also hearing like these soul connections are very important for you because I think they're going to reflect back more truth than what you had been hearing when people were pointing the finger, calling you the black sheep, or whatever that was for you, being the outcast, being ostracized, the gossip, the shame, the slander. Those things are very real and it's very painful. It's really hard when people won't say things to your face, but they love to talk behind your back, right? Or they might pretend to be your friend and gather information and then run around in the smear campaign or whatever, just like gossip. There's a lot of different ways. That's why they say words are weapons. And, there's a lot of weaponry being passed. Oh, and I think this is more past stuff. I think with the star card as our first card out, it is really talking about acknowledging the healing that has taken place so far. And even if some of these people have gotten better, be leery of any past offers that are coming up. We're still in Mercury retrograde. Jupiter's also in retrograde in Cancer, and that's all about like not wanting to work too hard, right? So if that black moon Lilith, something seems good, oh, they've gotten better, they're going to do better, they're not going to do that to me again, blah, blah, blah. It can be so hard to not fall into that trap. And that's exactly why these new soul connections are very powerful because they're going to help mirror back who and what you actually are and what you actually do bring to the world. And right now, I think, oh no, right in front of me, the Hermit, while it has felt safe for you, while it has been your best friend during this time and probably much needed as you do re-strengthen yourself, it's time to get back out there a little bit, right? It doesn't have to be huge, like we were talking about. It doesn't have to be monumental. It can definitely just be simple, small things, but those are all going to add up and they're leading to that breakthrough. There's a lot of like movement. I like the energy, even though you might be a little bit on the defensive with this Wands energy, you're still taking those steps forward. And we see that progress, right? We saw it from 5 to 9 tonight. Whoop, whoop, right? So thank you so much for your time, energy, always, Karen. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonate for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, little TLC. I will be going live tomorrow morning. I'll put a post just as a friendly reminder, but if you happen to be around, I would love to connect with you again. We'll be doing our health and wellness reading, and yes, start the weekend off right. All right. Thank you so much for everything, all your patience, all your flexibility. Hope you have a fabulous evening. All the love, all the blessings your way. Sorry. I pulled the camera with my little